Friends, welcome back to another video in our homestead renovation series. Today's video is probably the biggest renovation we've done yet. I've painted this entire house, but this, sanding and polishing the hardwood floors, is definitely the biggest project we've undertaken yet. I'm afraid, if I'm totally honest. These machines are powerful. You can mess up your floors pretty easy. I've watched a lot of tutorials. I've asked a lot of advice from the hire shop where I rented this, and I'm nervous, but I'm also excited. I'm anticipating having this job done. And if all goes as planned, I should be finished by this evening with the drum sander. Then tomorrow morning, I'll turn it in, I'll swap it out for an edging sander, which is gonna be able to get right in along the edges of the floors. And then once that's done, we'll vacuum the whole house. And then the day after tomorrow, we'll put down the varnish that we're gonna be sealing the floors with. So it's all straightforward, but it's scary because we're stepping into the unknown. I've never done this before, and I'm gonna take you along on the journey. So stay tuned.
He's a happy dog out here. Wilson, hard at work, doing his job. Hi. How's it going over there, Mr. Lawnmower? I'm sorry I had to protect the trees from you, but... So I've been working on the floors with my knee pads, first and foremost, hammers, nail punches, different size nails, a floor scraper, this stuff off for getting the sticky adhesive from carpets off. This will all come off when it gets sanded. And then filling gaps with this wood filler. The closest color that I have been able to find is for Remu. But you can see like these holes where they used to have cables running out for you know, like a landline phone or whatever. These all have to get filled. It's pretty straightforward. So what I've been doing is just you take a nice big scoop of this. It's just like kind of putting your walls, but it's for your floors. And you just get in there and do your best to kind of fill these gaps. All right, friends, welcome back. Today, we're gonna begin some of the first big moves on the journey to renovate our hardwood floors. So, I've already kind of done a couple of steps. I've already gone through the house using a hammer and a nail punch, and I have hammered down any nail heads which were protruding up above the surface of the hardwood floors. The reason you do that is because as you're sanding, which is going to be coming a little bit later in this video, you want to make sure that all of the nail heads are below the surface of the wood so they don't get caught on the sandpaper, rip it, and then the sandpaper is no good. So that's it's been kind of a long process over the last week of working my way through the house room by room and making sure that all of the nail heads are punched below the surface. But right now we're in the bedroom, and this is, I'd say, probably the biggest part, the biggest job of prep is this step right here. Is behind me used to be a closet. It was removed. Now there is this open area where Further down the road, we're gonna put a closet back in. It's gonna be like a really nice his and her style closet. One of the things about an older home, especially here in New Zealand, is that the closet space is quite tight. When they removed the wall here, they just used a really cheap piece of masonite wood. All of our floors throughout the house are what's called matai, which is a native hardwood of New Zealand. It was very popular for flooring, you know, at the turn of the century right through to the 1950s. It's a beautiful wood. It's quite difficult to come by nowadays. Now you can find it, it's expensive if you get it new, or you have to go to like a demolition yard. Some of the companies here that demolish old houses will pull up the nice old hardwood floors, and then you can buy the hardwood for your floors. I got lucky. I went to a local lumber yard, and the really kind owner let me have these 2 pieces of matai. So these are all salvaged from the river?
Yeah, it came out of Wahine.
Wow.
Like we used to get lots of it in the early days when we first started here.
Just from like old trees. He was very kind, he let me have this for free. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out a piece of like masonite wood, and we're gonna be replacing it with this piece of matai. I've already done it on the other side, and it looks so much better. Now there's a bunch of odds and ends and gaps and stuff, and we're gonna fill those in to the best of our ability. Just like removing this random white piece of wood from the floors and putting in a piece of matai timber already makes it feel so much more complete. These are the tools that I'm gonna be using. We have a screwdriver, drill, some hammers, nail punch, crowbar, vacuum cleaner, floor scraper, chisel, and a screw. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna screw this into a piece of wood that we're removing right in next to the nail. And that's gonna give us some leverage so that we can get in with the hammer to lift this floorboard. And here's the other side of the wall, which I've already removed. And it looks a hell of a lot better than that. Drill that in there, and then put a piece of wood here so you don't damage your floorboards that you're keeping. And then you can just start pulling. Now I might be better off with a shorter screw. Get it out. Get it out of here. Is that a hazelnut? Yeah. Okay, good. We got this piece of composite wood out of the picture. It's 2. Okay, so we've cleaned it all out. This is building paper. It's like a tar style paper. It's used to kind of seal off underside of the house in between the floorboards and the joists. Not an exact science. 4 pieces of this on here right now, and it seems like it's a little bit tight to get this new piece of wood underneath the trim. So we're gonna remove one of these. Don't mess with that. There we go, that fits. Now what we'll do is we'll slide that in there. So we're gonna have to take it now outside. We're gonna measure this up, how much of a gap there is left. 96 millimeters. There, 96 millimeters. Okay. Also, you may be able to hear the flies. The flies. It's summertime here, and there are just flies galore. The cattle up the valley take very large shits, huge ones, and those bring a lot of flies. So there's not much you can do except accept. 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 So get it tight enough that it won't move around on us, and not too tight that we damage the board. All right, here we go. What a job. Hunched over, on the ground, seated, hammer, nail punch, every single nail on this floor. Because our hardwood floors were under carpet, they had never, only this section of the house had actually been, varnished. So the rest of the house, I had to punch every single nail. Then fill it with this wood floor filler, which is essentially like a putty to fill in the holes so that there's a nice solid surface.
You guys have been working so hard.
I know.
Proud of you though.
Thank you.
And I feel lucky. I am very lucky to have him, honestly, you guys. What did I tell you last night? I came out of the bedroom and I was just like, he was on the floor, just like, I had just showered and he just like kept pushing. I think you had late coffee last night.
I've been working till I want to say from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m.
Yeah, it was almost 10 p.m. last night when you were working.
I just want to get it done,
Yeah.
you know? And the floors have been the thing that have been, I'll be honest, I've been afraid of them. I've been afraid to tackle the floors, and I've been putting it off. And it's one of those things that in life, when you're afraid of something, it's easy to justify to yourself, oh, I'll do it later, or, I won't do it, or, I knew I was gonna do this.
Yeah. It's like you psych yourself out.
But I was psyched out by it.
Yeah.
And I guess, this last week, I finally just changed the narrative in my head and said, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna tackle this, it's all gonna be fine. And once again, it's kind of the hardest part about it, and it's the same with the painting. The hardest part about it all is the prep work.
Definitely.
It's just slow, steady work. And after you get those all filled in, you get in there with the caulk gun, and I'll show you what we're doing to fill in these gaps. When it's windy, wind comes through the house and gets pushed through these gaps. Fill the gap with the caulk. C-A-U-L-K. Oh, you dirty, garbage, gutter-minded people out there. And then you just do that all the way along the edge of your entire house. It's not really a big job at all. It's just a little thing, All right, well, it's the final morning before we go rent the sanding equipment. And one of the last little corners in the house that I had not really looked into was this opened closet. And the bottom here, this needs some work. I would say 3/4 of the house was carpeted at one point. So you can see that there's still all the old adhesive from the carpet. So what I'm using is this. It's called Stuff Off, and essentially you just spray it on the adhesive and you leave it for 10 minutes or so, and then you just scrub it right off. Yeah, last little bit before we start. Well, the day is here. We have rented the drum sander and we are about to begin sanding the floors in the house. So we're just getting everything out of the house. Luckily, we've got good weather for the next couple of days. So we're just moving it out, and then once it's empty, we'll get in here with the drum sander and begin the process of sanding. All right, well, we have all of our belongings outside of the house and just stacked up here.
Also this belonging.
Jeez, just the laziest. You're so lazy, Lanky. We should call you lazy Lanka. But yeah, we've got all of our stuff here, and we're gonna have to move this out into the sleep out, and then yeah, hopefully we're done with this in like 2 days, right?
Yep, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so we just started on this room. We've done one pass, and you can just see the difference between the stuff that we haven't sanded yet and one pass with this 60 grit paper. But one thing you got to be careful of is these waves. So this was the first time I made contact, and you can just see, like, I was kind of tentative on it. I was a little bit like nervous, so I wasn't making good contact, and you can see that wave effect. So you got to be really careful with that. When I came over here, I was making better contact, and you can just see that effect is not there. So you want to try to avoid that, and we'll have to do a couple more passes on that to sand it out. But we're going to do a few more passes with the 60 grit in here, and then we'll get in and use the lighter grit, and looks good. But these little holes coming out nice, and yeah, feels good to get this underway. Round one done. Now what?
Now we are vacuuming the first sand, because there's obviously stuff everywhere here, but it's all good because it looks gorgeous.
Starting to get into the groove of this thing. Just like so many things on my face. I know, Carrie's got 3 masks because she doesn't have a great one.
We're already in the third bedroom though.
We're already in the 3rd bedroom. So we're just gonna keep it moving at 60 grit all the way through the house. And then once we make it all the way through the house, we will switch to a finer grit and start doing some of the like finer sanding. But it's hard work. It's like holding on, it wants to go. So like when you're going, you're pulling back against it. And then when you're moving forward, you're like, it's like a rowing machine.
I feel like Alex's camera work is coming in handy because you have to be like,
yeah, that's
on
so
the
true.
gimbal.
I'm using gimbal feet. Because if you don't, then it starts to do the wave thing. So you just gotta be like,
yeah. Because all those gorgeous, smooth shots that you guys see on YouTube and other things,
gimbal.
you gotta be really smooth.
Ninja feet.
Obviously, we have had to take everything out of the house to do the sand because sand gets everywhere. So that's why everything's empty. My face is so red right now. Fuel.
It's lunchtime, lunch break, and we don't really have a ton of accessible food. So, we're making the most of what we got. And what we got is smoothie materials. So, doing a banana, blueberry, fresh strawberry, mango, yogurt, and almond milk smoothie. Kefir yogurt, which is really good. It's a really good probiotic. And gut health is mental health. There's actually been a bunch of studies recently showing that if you have a healthy gut biome, which means healthy bacteria in your gut, like that probiotics from like whole Greek yogurt or kefir give you, then you're less likely to suffer from depression or mental illness. So have your probiotic yogurt every day. Oh, it's so good. Let me know your favorite smoothie recipe in the comments. Right now I'm loving this one. Blueberry, strawberry, banana, mango, kefir yogurt, and almond milk. It's day 2 and the process continues. We made really good headway getting the major coatings off of the wood, and that's kind of like the hardest part, is getting that top coat off, the varnish. We made it all the way really to the entrance of the kitchen, and so we have to do the kitchen today. We're gonna have to get all this off. Then we're gonna move the refrigerator and the oven out over here, and we're gonna get in there. And then once we do that, we'll start going through and essentially progressively go finer and finer on the grit for the sandpaper. So it's gonna take the whole day to do this properly. Then we'll go in and we'll return the drum sander. We'll get the edge sander. We'll sand that all off, get all the edges. It's probably gonna be another couple of days working on this, but it feels good to be here. The floors are polishing up beautifully, and it's just really gonna change the entire space. So it's just about, it's 8 in the morning, and we're gonna dive back into it now. So, but for real, this machine, this whole process is fairly straightforward. It's not like a particularly challenging job technically, but it's physically demanding. This machine is heavy. It's super heavy, and then it pulls. So when you're going forward, you have to use your body weight to slow it down. And when you're going backwards, you have to drag it. So, oh, my shoulder blades this morning, like right here on both sides, so sore. But no complaining. This is gonna just change the space. So I can stretch like. Big moment. We have finished the primary sand with the 60 grit, and now we're gonna switch to 80, and then we'll do a lap through the house with 80 grit, and then we'll do a lap through the house with 100 grit, and then we'll do a lap through the house with 120 grit. And by that time, we should be done with this drum sander and ready to return and swap it out for the edging sander. So we are making progress. It's slow, it's steady, but it's happening. Okay, friends, well, it was kind of a crunch time there at the end because we had maybe about 10 minutes. We made it by about 10 minutes dropping off the drum sander before the hire shop closed, which would have charged us another day. So we got the job done in time, which feels pretty great. And then we grabbed a pizza and cold beer and went down by the river, which was just glorious. It's a nice way to kind of wrap it up. And then we came home to this. It just looks so good. As much as I wish that the job were done, it's not quite done yet. So we hired this, which is it's called an edging. It will go in and clean up all these edges here. Yeah, we're making progress. I'm not gonna lie though, that was hard. That was a hard job. It's a tough job, but it's gratifying. It's really gratifying. Today's Thanksgiving. Had nice FaceTime calls with all of our family celebrating back in California. Carrie's parents came and visited my parents, and they're there with my brother and with my aunt and my uncle, and as much as we'd like to be there, you know, I'm just grateful that all of our families get along and, you know, everybody's there spending time together, and hopefully next year we can be there or they can be here. But just grateful for my body, for being able to push through and get this done. So that's really, it's physical labor for sure. And I'm also grateful for Carrie, who was there with me every step of the way, literally. How are you feeling after that, honey?
I probably look like I just got hit by a sand truck. I'm feeling really thankful for my body right now too, and I'm thankful for perseverance. I'm thankful for the mahi, you know,
the work, yeah.
Do the mahi get the treat?
Yeah.
You know? And it's true. It's like the feeling that you get when something's done is great, right? The feeling like if we got someone to do our floors, we'd be like, this is nice. The feeling that you get when you do it, and the sweat and the sand on your face and everything, when you walk back into the house and you're refreshed. I don't know if I'm refreshed, but I'm feeling better than I did an hour ago. Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling. It's a pat on the back feeling, and it's really, really rewarding. And I think what I'm learning here in this process, in this journey of us doing a lot of DIY projects in this renovation, is like some of the most rewarding things in my life have been here, you know? Doing things that I didn't think that I was capable of or that we were capable of, you know? And there's something really fulfilling about it.
Amen.
Update. The edge sander is a whole new circle of hell. It's like Dante's Inferno. I thought that the drum sander was tough. The edge sander, it's just next level. It's suffering in a machine. It's like you're squatted over like this, squatting, holding this like 30-pound metal machine that when you turn on has like a full-blown mind of its own. It's like a little Quidditch ball. It's just, so you gotta grab that fucking thing and you're sitting there like, you're just like flexing, and then you have to, oh, it's just brutality. Legitimately smell like a Yeti. I'm dripping, drenched in sweat, caked in dust. My mask is just like full blown. I don't even know if it's working anymore. That is hard. That is just, yeah, it's just a whole new level of suffering. I'm just dripping sweat. I'm done. I'm done. We're done with the big machine. We're done with the orbital. And I want to cry. I like legit want to cry. I want to cry. Honey, you did it. Now we just have to hand sand the rest of the floor to match it.
It doesn't have to be like too crazy. From what people are telling me, you really can't see it as much. Sorry, I've been doing the edges. I still have more edges to do, but in the corners. But
People are saying that you don't really need to, people are saying that,
Just a little bit of a touch up to
once you put the clear coat, it like, you can't even notice it.
yeah, I'm gonna still sand it to, essentially there's just like, you can kind of see the edges along there. Okay, there's sand all over everything. Everything. I'm caked. We look like bomb survivors.
You look like an Oompa Loompa.
It's finally time. We're ready to apply the satin finish to the floors. It's been a lot of work cleaning the floors. We've probably vacuumed the house all the way over maybe like 5 times, and we've swept up a bunch. There just keeps getting more and more dust, but we're finally at a point where it's like, we're good. So we're gonna apply this, which is a floor finish. We're gonna do 3 coats of it. And supposedly if you apply it within 24 hours, you don't have to sand between coats, which would be great because I'm really tired of sanding. We have all the windows shut in here, so it's pretty hot, but it's time to begin. So honestly, I just wanna get this on and then I'll kind of recap afterwards. So stay tuned and we'll show you what it ended up looking like. I'm pretty happy with how these replacement pieces of timber came out. Look a lot better than they did before, and you know, they match with the rest of the floors. So happy with how that turned out. It's been a long journey to get to here, but we're feeling really good with how these floors turned out. And hopefully this video was helpful for you, informational, and maybe inspirational to tackle your own hardwood floors. But I will say it's tough work. It's backbreaking work, but it's really gratifying work too. So if you're up for the challenge, it will definitely transform the space in your home. And yeah, it's a big feeling of accomplishment getting this done. Very happy with how it turned out. The only little headache is, you know, peeling off that painter's tape along the skirting board all the way along throughout the whole house. A lot of paint came off, so we're gonna have to redo those, redo the trim along the bottom there. But that's part of this journey too. So I'm gonna put the camera down. I'm gonna start painting, finish this up. We have our couch and chair arriving today, which is such a godsend. We haven't sat in a couch for months, and I'm really looking forward to enjoying the space and sitting down and relaxing. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel with notifications enabled so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And we will catch you very soon in the next episode. Have a great one. Bye.